All right, what's up, everybody? This is the first podcast of 2018. Want to wish everybody a happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Did you get drunk like Robert last night?
Why? I was see just that kind of do the exposure, no matter
right out of the gate.
That's fine. That's fine. That's all. It's all about sharing the memories.
Robert, was that your first time?
Yeah.
It was my first time. I drank like a shot once, but then last night I was like, well, let me see what it feels like. So I just started drinking like a bunch of shots.
He's drinking his sorrows.
And it was pretty funny. It was very different.
At least you remember it. At least you remember it.
Yeah, and oh God. I mean, I don't know.
I'm surprised that you're doing this podcast as much as you said you drank and your first time. Like, I'm not saying everybody's the same, but I was so sick for like 2 days after my first time drinking.
Wow. No, I just got a tiny bit of a headache. Tiny. It's really, really small, actually.
Maybe that's why I don't like drinking.
Because you can't handle it.
It's not the handling the drinking part. It's just, man, the hangovers for me were just terrible.
Well, you don't have to get hungover to drink. you can just drink leisurely. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's probably to do with my metabolism, something because
maybe
a couple drinks.
You're a natural lightweight, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
welcome to the club.
The drinking bitches under the table.
Yeah, it's not the drinking that bothers me. It's the 2 days after.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like having the flu like times 10. So
seriously, that's crazy.
Yeah,
2 days after. God dang.
It's terrible.
I'm sorry.
But anyway, let's I want to touch upon something. Last week I forget how it even got started. We were talking about games and then dudes that are too insecure to play a game if it has a woman.
It was me. It was my fault.
And then
that's coming.
That got into a little bit of a discussion out. Do we think game sales are affected by a male or female protagonist? You know, and there's evidence, kind of like I said, on both sides. There's no real factual proof, and I don't think there's an easy conclusion. But the part that bugs me is the replies we were getting is people were focusing on the fact that I said that given the choice, I prefer to play as a female character. You know, not that it matters, and some of the couple people got really offended by that, trying to tell me that, you know, why can't you just play a game and not worry about eye candy, this and that? You know what? I'm not going to apologize for being a man, being straight, and appreciating a female, whether it's in a movie or a video game. Like,
Here, hallelujah.
People trying to shame me for having a preference over a female, like,
yeah.
Why does that have to be eye candy? It isn't. But if there's an attractive female character in a game, I'm going to acknowledge that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially, or even if you're a woman and you like Link in Breath of the Wild and don't put any clothing on him, so he's in his boxer briefs, you know, I'm 100% fine with that.
I know girls that do that.
Yeah, there are girls that do that. I remember, I think it was Shelfie was like, oh, excited about, that's how she was going to play the game. And I saw a lot of comments like that. So it's like, it's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with appreciating whatever your preference is.
That's what it's there for. They wouldn't have drawn her like that if it wasn't there.
Take your Protestant pilgrim ass on somewhere with this.
Yeah, it's like what do we need these characters draped in like loose fitting robes and you can't even tell if it's a dude or a girl? Like, that's just to me, that's just it's just ridiculous. I don't understand.
Well, you know, I've read, and I could be wrong, but I've read that in Japan, you know, women having those kinds of proportions, that's not necessarily a purely sexual man-serving thing for them. Like with women over there, they enjoy a woman being very femininely shaped, like to an exaggerated extent, like a strong character, despite not looking like a man. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's just a cultural difference that we have between us and Japanese people. That's why you see that happen in so many video games, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely characters where it's, you know, you could say
clearly ridiculous.
Maybe that's a little a little extreme, you know, but still, like I said before, then you got Nia, who's like the complete opposite of you know, some of these blades, and it's like, there's basically every size is represented in this game, you know, like
Yeah.
men and women. And it's like, I don't understand why people try to make you feel bad for like having like just basically what T said it earlier, and I forget how you phrased it. And it was just like, it's I'm a dude, and there's nothing wrong with
It's
appreciating.
like you're a warm-blooded heterosexual male. What's wrong with enjoying the female form? It doesn't make sense for people to get out of shape.
It's like the evolution of the stupid myth where girls don't play video games, because not only do they play video games, like people like my fiance, for example, they like playing as dudes. When you have Skyrim, not only does she create like handsome dudes and shit, she draws, and very well might add, naked fan art with giant dicks.
That's greatness.
Chicks like that shit too. It's stupid to assume just guys like playing as just girls.
Yeah.
It is so stupid.
And
so many people are in their own heads.
And maybe they're insecure or in their own beings or something. And because I work with this girl, and she is the most open-minded, like just down to earth, coolest girl I've ever known. She's gorgeous, and she'll appreciate a woman before I even say anything. And it's like, but she's engaged. She loves men, but it's so refreshing to have somebody just so open-minded like that. And and you know, not everybody's like super sexualized, and you know, you know, like some people aren't. I know people that never talk about that kind of stuff, but don't shame me or try to shame me for just
that is, to me, I think that's such an American thing. Like I feel like that's us over here. We still have that Puritan mentality, the Puritan settlers. You know, it's just because you can blow somebody's head off, but don't have them naked while you're doing it, because you know what I'm saying? That's just an American. I feel like that's just an American thing, because obviously the Japanese don't give a damn, and I feel like most European countries don't care about that stuff either. Like, they're way more sexual than we are.
Some of those countries are so open that it would make you question their.
Yeah, exactly.
They really question the. But at the same time, it's like, at least they aren't so repressed like us.
Yeah, we're so uptight here. Maybe that's why we go around murdering people as much as we do, because we're so uptight about sexual.
But we treat the
sexually
murder.
repressed.
Is that what it is? We're just trading the murder.
We're so sexually repressed here. I think
that's why we have like the largest growing prison population. You know, a huge prison population, because we just, you know, we love shaming people and punishing people and stuff over here for things that a little bit of therapy would. You know what I'm saying? Like, healthcare.
Somebody's probably typing comment right now, and I just want to point out one thing. And I said this before we went on air. If you're a woman, or you're somebody that's like, think you're offended by what we're saying, just think of, and you might not agree with this, but this is just reality. And there's a movie series not too long ago came out, set records in November. You know, there was 4 or 5 of them, and not every single, you know, a large majority of the women that I know at work, friends and family, you know, would flock to these terrible movies.
Terrible.
And had nothing to do with the plot, the Kristen Stewart character. It was Twilight. And I mean, millions and millions of women flock to those movies because of the dudes, because of Edward and
extremely unrealistic dudes.
It was guy candy. It was guy candy.
It was guy candy. And you know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
None.
I just want you to remember that before you type your comment and get all mad. So with that out of the way, let's get into some gaming discussion. You know, and Retro just shared us a sweet picture that his fiance drew. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Oh no. Oh my god. That's what you call a red guard.
See, I'm on the phone. I can't see it.
It's good. So you don't need to see it.
Yo, tell it to draw Lola Pop thick.
Please,
bro. Please.
stop. Chill out.
So
Sorry.
yeah, that's a hell of a artwork. No, man.
Or Dr. Coyle.
All right, listen.
I'm pretty sure that's done already though.
But tell Tell your
Right.
fiance she's got real skills, man.
Yeah,
That's-
skills, yes.
Yeah, that was old even already, but yeah, she's insane.
But let's I want to talk about Xenoblade a little bit with, you know, I know Retro doesn't want to hear spoiler stuff, and I don't want to get into spoiler territory, really, but Twilight hasn't been on the podcast in a while, and I know you were a big Xenoblade fan, so why don't you just tell us, you know, what your feelings are on the game, how far in you are, and you know, how does it compare to the past two games for you?
Man, you put me on the spot, bro. Well, I was the one who was extremely excited. It was revealed that shit a year ago now. God damn. Um, and I just was impressed with the walking animations and what they were able to put a Xenoblade game on this system, man. And just that alone, and it just reminds me so much of like long lost Dreamcast JRPGs, long lost PlayStation 1 JRPGs and stuff. It's just got that vibe to it, man.
I get
And
the
that's what I was
Super NES.
so looking for.
I'm with you. I feel Dreamcast big time.
It's a perfect conglomeration of all of those feelings, man. And it's at Monolith, they really are in touch with that. And that's, I mean, it really, and sometimes, you got some of that Japanese corniness, but I've never actually been like moved by a video game cutscene in the way I have in Xenoblade.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not so conventional. It's not trying to be a movie. It's being the true evolution of those old school JRPGs for a modern day. Now, to be honest with you, it's a give and take. Each Xenoblade game gives and takes, and so certain things I can give it a mark for, like a bad mark for. Like, I don't know. I feel like the worlds themselves aren't quite as expansive or quite as beautiful or breathtaking as Xenoblade X. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I love Xenoblade X's map, like the surroundings and stuff. Way better. I ain't gonna lie to you. I would have dreams about X. It's not quite the same with Chronicles 2, but it does feel like a truly different type of game. So I don't hold that against it so much as I just kind of just adjust my because it's more story driven. It's a little bit more linear game, and what is there is breathtaking. My personal preference is more exploration heavy. So Xenoblade X was kind of a dream for me, but I missed a strong story. I missed a cohesive story. Xenoblade X kind of just was. It just felt like the story was an afterthought almost.
What if they had the exploration of X with this story? I mean, that would have been.
It would have been too much. It would have been great, but I don't know. I don't know how well they would have been able to, combine those two. But we'll see. I'm pretty sure a new one is coming out within the next 3-4 years. So we'll see. But right. I love most of the characters. I love Rex, mostly in Japanese. His English voice actor kind of bugs me a little bit, but I bear with it.
Yeah, what do you feel about I think the voice acting overall is like,
yeah, man. Joe Mark is standout for me.
Pops, our Gramps. I mean,
yeah. They did really well. I think they did better with this than they've done in any other of the games. Yeah, it's just certain stuff that's just technically way more sound in this game than either of the first two. From a voice acting standpoint, from a storytelling standpoint, from just a pure visual presentation standpoint, it's better than both of the others, especially with the cutscenes. I mean, those cutscenes are like
little anime
shit.
That could be an animated movie, and I would definitely want to watch it.
Yeah. And it's just so unique. It's just such a distinctive type of story they're telling. And so I'm really enjoying it when I can get a chance to play it, because I've been so busy with really being able to put time into it. But the time I have been able to put in, about 77 hours, has been great.
Yeah, and like I was telling you guys, I'm at like hour almost, I think 80, 85, 90. Depends on if I look at my Switch or if I look at my save file, so I can't figure out which one is accurate. But I just got a new combat ability like 85 hours into the game. And it's like,
really?
it's like I did not expect anything more to learn, and it's crazy like that they've designed this game. That's bold, and that just takes like just saying, not worrying about what other games do and what other games have done, and just like, we're gonna make this game, we're gonna make it the way we want. And it's like, I was blown away. Like, wow, this is a whole new element that now I think I can go take on some higher level enemies, and it's just like how it just keeps getting better.
And that's the thing about this game is I never really feel like some shit is totally out of my control. Some of the areas have too many enemies, like it's too densely packed, so they'll gang up on you like almost immediately. But it never really feels like so out of control as like the first two did. You know,
That was actually one of
Go ahead.
my issue, sorry, with the Xenoblade X, that you couldn't help that. But I think here they fixed that issue where you can lure enemies separately, one by one, away from a pack. I like that.
Because it's not easier at all. In fact, I feel like the enemies have so much more health, even lower. Even enemies that are like 10 levels lower than you still gotta like really hack away at them. But yeah, it's just a lot more streamlined.
I'm at like level 60, and I was like this little level 45 or something creature. And within a minute, one of my party members was dead. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And it's a little tiny like fox creature.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Those bastards.
Yeah, and it's like, why the hell did he just die? Like,
for some reason, they hit way harder than you think they should.
And I even put on like what are they called? The abilities you can put on your art on your blades, like the
arc scores.
Yeah, and it was like reduce spike damage by 80%, and I'm like, all right, I got that covered. And it happened again. I was like, what?
Yeah, people, you don't underestimate some of the enemies in this game, and it tripped me out because I actually when I went after I beat the game, I said, well, let me go back and do one of the sub missions, because I couldn't beat it before because I was like around the same level and getting my ass kicked. All right, I'm about 10, 15 levels higher, and I'm still losing like party members halfway through the fight. And I'm like, what is this shit? And it's because it's not really about the level as much as it's about your combination of arts and chains. And some of these enemies have like some stupid high damaging moves that can like have knockdown damage on top of topple and shit. And then all of a sudden you see your character spinning in the air and you're like, oh, I got launched. Fuck. It trips me out, man. But
on the flip side of that, there's an area in Mordain that I had never even figured out till a side quest took me in that direction. When you're leaving the town heading towards like the factory, there's a path to the right I never went down. Yeah, probably good I didn't. Probably good I didn't in the beginning, because there's level 60, like
I know you're talking about
58 to 62 of the Mordain soldiers.
Yeah.
And like you take on like 3 of them at a time, and you know, if you got, basically I have at least one healing blade on all my party members. And I went from, at the time I was there, I was at 53, and then a half hour I was at 56. And maybe not even a half hour. I went back and I like got up to like 59 in under an hour. Like, it was just easier opponents, but you super huge amount of experience per battle. And it was just like, because they just keep coming, so you're all affinities maxed, and you're ripping off combos left and right, and it's just like, next thing I know, I'm leveling up like almost halfway, one battle sequence with all these enemies, and I'm halfway to my next level already. It's like, damn, this is the spot, like in Xenoblade Chronicles X, in the upper area of Noctilum. There's like a huge waterfall. You go up there, and there's a bunch of high level enemies that were easier, and I was leveling up like crazy. So I don't know. Really depends on the, just certain enemies just do more damage, and other enemies you can, even if they're 10 levels higher than you can beat them. So
yeah, it all depends on the moves they have. Some of the moves of the enemies have does so much damage that the level gap doesn't mean as much, because they could potentially kill one of your party members insanely easily. which is a fucking trip.
Yeah,
I went-
Morag. I had to fix Morag because I had her as my tank, man. She was getting her ass handed to her, man.
Oh, bro,
like tweak her.
when you get Zeke, it's literally it's a glass cannon effect. This man can throw hits like nobody's business, but you hit that man like 1 or 2 times, that man is dead. I'm like, fuck, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
But the thing is, you can just customize the blade, and that kind of helps mitigate their weaknesses.
Yeah, don't underestimate the influence of the blades. They add
And then you can, like,
HP and everything.
You go in and you set the auxiliary cores to a specific, like outdoor, 30% damage outdoors or against Titans. You know, there's all these things you can set up to like benefit, and then you put on your accessories on your driver. So I put on like, 21% increase to HP, but then the other thing I put on was like, I forget the specific one I was doing. There was another like attribute that like just greatly doubled the everything else I was doing, the damage I was doing this, and I just like was blowing through the area once I kind of set everything up. I set all my drivers and blades up specifically for the area I was in, and it like made a huge difference. So
it's a whole curriculum to this game.
That's why I say, dude, that's why I say I love the fucking battle system in this game.
And the chain attacks, I had for the first time I had an enemy with 3 elemental revolving that I broke, and I still only did like 500 and some thousand. I know ASAP Rel did like 4 million damage. Like he posted on Twitter, and
yeah, you had to be fighting someone like relatively high leveled than you. On top of them, also you being able to get off chain attacks quicker than normal, and then being able to fall that into a burst.
Plus having the thing I was talking about after 80 hours, having that new ability like does the damage. So
I really wish I knew what you were talking about.
Oh, you're pretty. From what you told us before the thing started, you're pretty close to getting it.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, you're right about to get it. So
you're actually about to get something else too, but I don't want to talk about that because that was a long running conversation between me and Juice for like.
And I disagreed with your assessment that not to use rare blade or not to summon rare blades with Rex. Like I didn't feel it made a difference when that thing happened. So.
But you know what I'm talking about. You knew what I was referring to when I.
But I wouldn't tell anybody not to do that. And like,
I would. I mean, it's not like it's not a huge thing. I just think it's more convenient for your other characters. That's what when I said it.
Yeah, I know what y'all talking about.
But anyway, it's a great game, and I get sucked in, and it's like it's hard to put it down. But I also completed the Zelda DLC.
I have not. I'm so sad.
Finished
the Trial of the Sword finally, and
you've been riding around Hyrule on your new motorcycle.
And somebody's like moving stuff around. I don't know who that is, but
I know who it is.
Mute your damn mic, dude.
At the mechanic shop.
All I'm hearing is like dishes and stuff.
Oh, I know who it was.
I dropped some shit and I had to pick it up. Sorry.
But I was back into the Hyrule last night before the new year ended. I wanted to be playing Zelda as clock struck 12. And like it was just I ended the night with something. I won't spoil it for anyone, but when you finish the Champion's Ballad, you get something, and then I just happened to go to a particular place, and there's a little cutscene that no indication, nothing telling you to do it. I just went to a place I hadn't been in a while. I was like, I'm just gonna save here, and then this cutscene kicked in, and it was this nice little moment, and it's just like I was talking about Horizon in my last Juice Opinions. I had some gameplay, and like that game has no moments like what I'm referring to, and like Zelda just has them just all throughout the game, and it was just like it was so touching. It was just awesome, like. Most of us are pretty much all the way through Breath of the Wild. The character cast, the bird guy with the accordion, like when you finish up like his story, there's such a awesome thing that happens, and it's just like stuff like that. it's not that Horizon's like terrible in its main aspects. It just doesn't have the little attention to detail stuff. And playing Zelda last night, I was just like just cemented it even further how amazing this game is. And I seen T posted a screenshot. I don't know if that was from playing recently or not.
No, that was yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. You were in the Hebrew region, looked like finding a shrine.
And I ran into a shrine. I'm like, this is crazy. How am I still running into shrines out in the open? Like I expect to like do the what do you call those shrines? The ones where you have to basically unlock them.
The shrine quest.
The shrine quest, right? I'm expecting, those to be my last few shrines because I'm at I think 107 now, and I'm like, I'm not gonna run into a shrine in the open anymore. Yeah, okay. I'm like, what? So that was pretty cool. And I ran into this cabin, with a hippie in it who likes to shield surf.
Yeah,
I know who you're talking about.
I never saw that before, and I was like, "This is crazy."
Really?
So what were you thinking?
Ganondorf and unlocked all the shrines when I discovered him.
What were you thinking when you watched remember the Nintendo World Championship when they had the shield surf? That was that whole.
I don't think I watched that part.
Okay, because
I think I missed that.
The beginning part was the shield surfing.
Yeah, I missed that.
It's so easy to get off course too. Like I basically had to watch what the professionals were doing in that, and I learned a path to take on the expert because I
remember it. I remember that being a thing, and I saw some of it, but I don't think I saw enough to realize that that's what that was. So
there's another
one of those ones where you go down, and isn't there a shrine when you shield surf down? I forget. It's like
no, it's at the top.
Oh no,
the cabin. There's a shrine.
Yeah. I'm thinking like I remember there was like you had to push down a snowball to
that one.
Yeah, to get a shrine.
I did that. So it's funny because
it's very close, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. Like I did that probably 7 months ago,
well, that's not
and I was right there, and I still didn't see. That's how crazy this game.
That area is actually down the mountain quite a bit. So,
well, I mean, I was in the same area. Like it was, and it's just to be able to miss that for 7 months.
Well, there's going to be one. Maybe you found it, maybe you didn't, where your shrine detector will go off, and you're like, I'm standing like. If I go in any direction, it doesn't make a noise, so I know I'm right on top of it. How do the fuck do I get in?
Yeah, I found that one too. That one's annoying the hell out of me because it took me forever to realize.
And then there was final Leviathan skeleton there that I needed for a side quest, and I was like, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Finally found the shrine, and I found that long lost thing I was looking for. So it's
that was an amazing moment too.
The discovery in that game, like it's just. Second to none. I've never experienced anything like it where I just knew that if I went somewhere and explored and it was going to be rewarding. I wasn't going to have to constantly be on Google. Like with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, as great as it is, I'm basically have my phone like on my lap because I have to look up. There's so many things where you're just never going to find them on your own. Like it's just you'd have to put 500 hours probably in the game to find everything. With Zelda's, it just felt so natural to me. I know, Robert, I gave you shit about looking up all the shrines and just going there. Like, it was so natural to me. Like, I was at, like, 103 before I really even had to, like, struggle to find more. And I know Retro's currently wrapping up his final few shrines.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel like finding them's pretty natural? I know it gets to a point where you do have to, like, kind of look at the map and say, hey, there's no shrine in this vicinity, maybe I'll go there. But I felt like most of the shrines were pretty natural to find.
When I finished the game, I was at 106 or 107, and I think like Friday or something, I was like, okay, I wanted to do DLC, but I was like, I want to do like some of the shrine stuff first. And I think after 2 or 3 days, I was at 107. Then I found like several, like some shrine quests, some blessings that were already instantly given to me and stuff. One shrine, I actually had it already on my map. I just never went in there yet. And now I need 3 more. And all of that before went pretty natural. But now I'm at the point I need 3. And it's killing me. Like I'm doing like I'm using the hero path tool to look for holes. I'm trying to use the distance of other shrines to think maybe here's one. I already went to all the towns and all the stables to talk to everybody. These last 3 are seriously killing me.
Yeah, well, I would
There are a few
recommend
like
doing the DLC. Kind of takes you to all the 4 major regions. You might just find one doing the DLC. I would recommend anybody listening that has the DLC doesn't have all the shrines. As long as you have 4 champions defeated, do the DLC because it just takes you to all the areas and you got to really traverse a lot of the areas again. So I think I would recommend doing that and then you might run across. There's a couple shrines though where there's no quest, there's no indication, and it's just like, oh, there's some torches in this area. There's 4 of them. Stuff like that. I don't know if you did that, but you're not going to find it with your sensor. You're not going to find a shrine quest telling you. It's just you have to see it and kind of think, wonder what happens if I like these, So
that's how I found my shrines, the DLC stuff, running across.
We all kind of thought the DLC was going to be post game, take you on further, but really they designed it to work probably better for the people that are just playing the game now, and they get the 4 divine beasts, and it's like, oh, here's all this cool stuff to like power yourself up a little more, power up your runes, get this new traversal way on the motorcycle, and it's like it really is to help the people that are playing it for the first time as much as it is the people that had beaten it and were waiting for new content. So
what I like is it's not even because we expected it to go beyond the game, but I like the fact that technically if you play the DLC like you played the game and you really want the story and discover everything, like the DLC actually takes you back, and I like that better.
Yeah, and it's I think I brought this up. There's all 4 champions they added journals for them that you can find, and they're not that hard to find. The first, I think Mifa's is going to be the hardest one. I just stumbled across that shit, but it's just like they didn't mention that. They didn't talk about that. They didn't hype that up. But there's so much good stuff just reading their journals. Like oh man.
That's one thing that actually bothers me about the DLC, because like I didn't really start it yet. I did want to do already, a little bit of it, but then I was looking for the shrines, and all of a sudden I find this quest. Holy shit! There's another quest here with this ball. Okay, that means there's a new shrine. Fine, then I need 2 more after that, and I did all that shit, and it turned out it was one of the shrines from DLC. I'm like, god damn it!
Yeah, that is. You'll know the difference because the shrines look.
Yeah, they look different.
They got a lot taller.
Yeah, I actually like the new.
to say the least.
I like the DLC shrines, but like once I saw those and then I saw the original ones, like I don't like the shape of these anymore. But it's just an amazing game, and I was glad, happy to have that be the last game and first game I played of this year. The last game I was playing of last year. Just, there ain't much left for me to do except find Korok seeds and
oh, screw that.
And then try to do the Trial of the Sword on Master Mode, which I don't think I have the patience for, but it was
You got all the Korok seeds?
No, I got like 320, 330. I found a bunch last night I had the Korok mask. I was driving around on the motorcycle and I had to stop, and there's like 2 on top of each, basically right in the same area, so
not enough incentive to get them.
There's not enough incentive for that. Like I've already just covered most of the map and seen all the cool things, and I did watch some tutorials on how to like farm for stuff, and it's just amazing what the game lets people do.
I watched the completionist video on it, Breath of the Wild, and so he got all the Korok seeds and whatnot, and it's just he gives you a rating on like beat it, complete it. He was just like, just beat it. There's nothing like. No.
Getting 120 shrines is a nice payoff.
Yeah, he did say that. He said get the 120 shrines, and other than that, don't worry about the Korok seeds. Just beat it.
What I also love about Breath of the Wild is that I'm at 195 hours in now. It's approximately what I put in Skyrim. But in Skyrim, after like 50 hours, you've seen everything that is possible in the game, basically. Enemies have specific behaviors, they can do specific things, and they're very limited. I was playing like 2 days ago. That was when I was about 180. And seriously, Saturday, I played like 12 hours straight. And I was playing, and I'm walking around, and all of a sudden, I see like this, the Moblin. And I'm fighting this silver moblin, and he has his little dudes around him, and his weapon is gone. He's running out of weapons. I'm running away from him, shooting arrows at him. The dude picks up this little fucking bokoblin and he throws the fucker at me. I'm still discovering new things possible.
Oh, you've never seen that before?
No, and it was like this log, and I tried messing around with the balloons, and I learned that you can like attach balloons to logs and fly through the air with that shit. Like I'm still discovering new things because the physics of the game are so insanely thought out. Like you're still discovering things like 200 hours in. It's insane.
Yeah.
I had somebody, I think it was in my Horizon video I just posted, was like, well, Zelda, maybe it wasn't that video, but anyway, the guy was like, well, the reason they can do all those physics and stuff is because of the, simplistic art style. I'm like,
oh my God.
That has nothing to fucking do with the.
Well, how come nobody's done that then? You're gonna make that. If you're gonna say that, then say why nobody still hasn't done that up until now.
Like that was a choice they made, not because of the graphics, because of the way the game development was happening. They wanted a physics system.
It's like, oh, we have all this cache of RAM left because the physics or the game is so simplistic. Now we can do all this other stuff. Yeah, nobody's done that because they aren't as cool as Nintendo.
It's just like, and I can understand. Like ASAP Rail was talking, Xenoblade's his game of the year. Like if you love that combat system and you prefer like a great epic story and stuff in a game, I can give that a pass. I still just, when you look at the gameplay variety of games this year, it's just like, and I haven't played everything that came out this year for sure, but I'm just like, there's so much you can do in this game, and it's just it just keeps on giving. I got 275 hours according to my Switch. And that's, the most I've ever played another Zelda game was probably closer to 50 to 60. So that tells you something right there.
I put like 50 in Twilight Princess just to finish it completely. That's it.
Yeah. But
let's a Zelda game like this. So
it's a real testament to the game that we're talking about it like almost a full year later.
10 months.
Yeah.
Like it's some new shit.
Literally 2 days shy of 10 months. And it's like, I'm still like grinning as we're talking about this game.
I'm still finding new shit, and I haven't even done all the DLC. So
I'm still just, every time I go back to it, I'm like, Hyrule Field, I had posted a little video on Twitter riding the motorcycle through. I'm still impressed by the amount of like the grass, how it flows and reacts to the headlight on the motorcycle, reacts to like your Master Sword when it's fully charged, blows in the wind. Like it just, to me, like, I don't care what sacrifices they had to make to have that grass, have that just element to the, the way it moves, the way the sun shines on the clouds, like pan over it, and it's moving to the wind. Like that to me was a great design decision, and maybe it cut down on draw distance detail or whatever, but I just still am amazed at the grass in that game.
It's a beautiful game. It's not as quote unquote graphically as intense as something like Horizon or something, but it's a beautiful game in its art style. So
I was gonna say, but I'd rather have like this style with this grass, which is the best grass ever done in a video game, and sadly, it probably will never be done until maybe a rare occasion in 5 years. And look at what Horizon does, which people think looks really good, but when you look at the grass, it's cardboard fucking sticks on the floor.
Yeah, it doesn't move. It doesn't react to you.
Terrible, and it looked terrible when I first ever saw it.
It's a photo. It's photorealistic because it's a photo.
The grass you can hide in kind of moves and stuff, but the rest of the game doesn't. And I got like 40 hours in Horizon, and in a completely different art style, different direction for the game. It's still a great looking game. Like it's pleasing to the eyes. There's nothing interesting, like as technically superior as it is. There's nothing interesting in the game. Like, man, I gotta go there, man. Wow, look at that. I really want to explore that area. Like that, there's no beacons calling you to and I think that's the biggest like thing Zelda did for open world games. And if you watch the roundtable with the creator of BioShock, something Levine, forget his first name.
Ken Levine.
Yeah, and a bunch of other developers, they talked for like an hour.
Yeah.
And putting their egos aside, because some, directors, creators, they usually sometimes have hard to praise other things, and they're just gushing about the game design. And one of the things Ken Levine said was like how they figured out to get you to go somewhere like dangling a carrot, you know, without really trying. It seems effortless that things are calling you to go explore them, and it's like that's one of the trickiest things that no one, probably regular gamers who aren't game developers or designers, don't appreciate how impressive that aspect is.
See, musicians have a thing called soul, y'all. Soul separates bullshit music from the music that lasts for a long time.
Yeah,
so
you can tell.
You got Earth, Wind, and Fire, right? Right
Earth,
now,
Wind,
that'll remake a Earth, Wind, and Fire song, and that remake will sound like shit because there ain't no soul in it. It's electronic, and it's using the most cutting edge technology to try and recreate something that was made 30, 40 years ago. No soul in that shit, so of course it's gonna come out half dead. You know, it can be polished as you want, but if it don't have no soul, that's what Nintendo games have. You know, like actual artistic value. You know,
yeah, it's how they design their games.
Yeah, it's Horizon trying to be photorealistic, but if it ain't got no soul, it's gonna look like
yeah. You talk about no soul. Talk to an NPC.
An NPC, my God,
they got no soul.
I will dead people.
I will say, because I think I'm the only one here that's played it and beat it at least for sure. I know Robert, you probably played it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It is like impressive that the Killzone guys made this game, because there is a lot of love that went into it. Mm-hmm. It just feels like they put so much time. I mean, there's so many dialogue moments with non-important characters, not even NPCs, but just non-important NICs, that they spent so much time doing voice acting and writing for that pointless stuff. And, you know, that took away from, to me, like all the little things. Like if you watch the video, like you can't just jump over. There's so many invisible walls in this game, like just ridiculous. Like it's an open world game, and I guess before Zelda, that probably was okay. But it's just like there's so many areas where you should just be able to jump over this little stone, and you can't because it doesn't want you to go there. Whether it was they want to worry about having to fix a bug or something if you jump down to a lower level, but it just feels like I said in my video, like they're 80% of the way there. I think like if they could now build upon this and then just kind of add a lot more little things, and I think it could be a pretty impressive game. And you know, like Rise of the Tomb Raider was what I was hoping it would play more like, but it actually plays more like a Far Cry game in third person than Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I think is one of the best third person action adventure games. You know, it's different than Zelda, but I like it. You know, to me it's one of the better third party games we've seen, multi-plat games in my opinion, in the last at least 5 years. And I kind of hoped Horizon was going to be more like that. So, but
it's funny because people when you talk about this, you talk about gameplay and graphics, and it always ends up in gameplay versus graphics. And somebody says, well, why can't you have both? Well, it's hard to have both. It happens occasionally. I think, like you said, Tomb Raider is one of those games where you have like really cutting edge, not cutting edge, but like, you know, top of the line visuals and gameplay. It happens rarely because a lot of people spend so much time on the visual stuff, and you don't have that development time to develop, you know, awesome gameplay to go with it. And it's rare that happens. And then when you do that, sometimes people don't buy the game, you know. So it's just like it's a risk. So people usually don't do it. Like game companies usually are, we're going to give them crazy visuals and, you know, gameplay that people, you know, that's more appealing to the masses. You know, you can't do anything too intricately, you know, crazy with the gameplay, because you want to get most people, you know, you want to get as many people as you can to buy it. So that's why you end up with that's why, you know, I end up on the side of gameplay. I want gameplay over graphics because usually they are split. They don't always go together. As far as like cutting edge visuals and great gameplay, I'd rather have the gameplay because I'll go back to that game. You know, pretty game eventually will start looking ugly. You know, after a few generations, it won't look as pretty. So,
and people that maybe don't love Rise of the Tomb Raider as much as I did, one of the things they always point out, well, the story's not that interesting. Is, you know, there's Lara Croft isn't an interesting character in these games. I'm like, you got amazing gameplay, especially the first one felt like a Metroid cross Zelda mixed with Lara Croft as a main character, but it doesn't have the story of Uncharted. Like I don't know that there's a game that's ever had all three, like story, gameplay, and like visuals, but
it's rare.
Like you can't. What's more important to you, I guess, is what it boils down to. Is the story more important than gameplay or graphics? Like for me, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a lesser game than X in almost every way, but the story's so good, the cutscenes are so good that it propels the game. Probably, I think it's ahead of X for me, like based upon the story, but the combat's still there and amazing. So it's just hard to please everybody, and I got to give Guerrilla Games credit for going from being the Killzone guys to releasing Horizon and it being a pretty good game, all things considered. So speaking of Horizon, though, let's talk about the Amazon official top 10 games based on sales of 2017. We were kind of doing that last week, but it had all the PSN cards and shit in there. So according to Nintendo Everything, this is official and Amazon's top 10 best-selling games, just from Amazon, obviously. Like some of these games might have been in, like Call of Duty might be higher overall, but on Amazon,
just the largest retailer in the world, that's all.
Yeah. Let's start with number 10. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Wii U was the number 10 best-selling game on Amazon in 2017.
That's just a weird thing. That's just a weird.
That's incredible.
You know where this is going, folks.
What?
We're talking about Wii U making the top 10.
So, like, I was shocked that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think of what other games could be on there in 2017, but where's the Xbox One X games like Forza 7? Where's
Record Definitive Edition?
A little bit. A little bit of a disclaimer. They separated games like Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon are separate games that are 9 and 8. Moon is 9, Sun is 8. If they combine those, it might have been like 6, 5. Splatoon 2 was number 7. I was shocked by that one. I know it sold. Why? Well, actually, no, isn't that because they said that it's only 25% of Switch owners bought it, whereas Odyssey Deluxe, Mario Kart, Mario Odyssey, and Zelda were like
close to 3 million people.
Were like 50 million or 50% of
50%.
Sorry.
What?
So, but Splatoon 2, I mean, and I don't know if this is Amazon all over the world or Amazon in North America. I don't know if it's separated. I guess it doesn't say here, so I'm gonna assume this is just North American Amazon, but because Call of Duty's 6 and 5, Xbox One, PS4, in that order. Then Horizon Zero Dawn got 4, so I mean it's probably already one of the best-selling exclusive PlayStation 4 games, if not the best-selling. And then number 3, which kind of surprised me, was Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for the Switch. Thought that would be 2, but Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is 2.
Wow, that's kind of a shame, to be honest.
I know.
That's not.
But we know that they both sold 5 million, along with Super Mario Odyssey, the best-selling game on Amazon of 2017. Came out in late October,
2 months ago and shit.
and we know it's over 5 million, and it's the best-selling game of the year on Amazon. It's like, who would have predicted?
I remember
if they did top 30.
July, I had. I was saying in July I was doing an after-school program, and I had kids talking about Mario Odyssey already, like chomping at the bit for that game in the summertime. So
I remember the views on the YouTube trailers was just ridiculous.
Well, that's because Mario from Jump. I don't know. I would argue Mario is more accessible than Zelda is.
Well, yeah.
So easily, Mario has a greater wide appeal, and it's not like Zelda doesn't, but it's like a Mario game for a lot of people. It's like, oh, you're just running and jumping, and then you see Zelda, and you're like, fuck, that looks complicated. And granted, it's not. But I think for a lot of casuals, it was just like, fuck, that looks good.
Well,
I think it's just crazy because it's 2 months. That's the big thing. Is it's like,
Zelda had 10 months, but the funny thing is the 3D Mario games don't sell. Nintendo fans, why don't 3D Mario games sell? Like,
when was that a thing?
What-
Whoever said that?
When was that a thing?
No,
If you look
the
at
only
2D
argument I
Mario
ever heard
games-
was that 3D games didn't sell as well as the 2D games. That
Yeah,
was
that's
it.
what I
Yeah.
meant.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I was gonna say.
But
'cause
3D Mario games, other than I think
Sunshine
Galaxy,
is like their lowest selling one at 6.3 million. So
Darn it!
but Zelda's hit the 10 plus range a few times, whereas a 3D Mario game, I think Galaxy is the only one, maybe 64. So I mean, they definitely are. It's a big drop off from 2D Mario to 3D Mario, and I think
yeah,
Zelda to 3D Mario is kind of. I think Zelda's probably got it beat, but either way, the top three all Switch games all sold 5 million. Shout outs to Horizon. It was a successful game, and if you added the Call of Duties together, I'm sure it would have been maybe in the top three. But I looked at VG Charts had tracked the first week sales of Call of Duty, and you can see like it's just a huge drop off from previous years. Combined, Xbox One, PS4 was like 2.2 million in the first week, and Mario Odyssey was like 2.1 or something in its first week. But you're talking 70 million PS4s, 35 million Xbox Ones combined, and Call of Duty could barely do what Mario did, or did about the same as Mario. So it's I think times are changing. I think the shift's happening. I think Call of Duty's finally on its last legs, hopefully for good. And then
people are
just
moving
show.
on to other shooters. There's so many more cool shooters out there now.
But it's like people were saying platformers. Remember when it was like, oh, the resurgence of platformers? Look at, we got Ukulele announced, we got this game announced, we got.
I did a
this
video
game.
on that.
And no one was giving credit to 3D World or talking about what Nintendo's been doing.
Well, of course not.
And Odyssey comes out, 3D platformer, and it's best-selling game on Amazon. So, I mean, it just kind of debunks so many things. And it's not it's a great-looking game, but it's not pushing 4K. It's just, again, shows you the top three games.
Not even pushing 1080p.
Yeah.
No, that's true. 900, but
We'll get there, damn it.
it just goes to show you got Zelda on here twice, Pokemon, Splatoon 2. I mean, they're all good looking games, but they're nothing. They're not, they're not pushing 4K TVs to their limit, and it's just crazy that
Clean,
people still
60
think.
frame. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those games are 60 frame per second games on a Nintendo console.
Horizon's only 30, right?
Yeah, but it's a lock. Like, it's a smooth 30, I will say.
Oh, no,
for how-
I just didn't remember if it was 30 or not.
Even on the Pro?
Yeah, I think it's 30 on the
yeah,
phone.
it's locked.
your voice is so shady. Just now.
Oh, that's how
That's my shady voice. I use it once in a while.
I gotta correct somebody in the chat saying the only 3D Zelda games over 10 million are Ocarina and Majora's Mask because of 3D re-release, but Twilight Princess
Twilight Princess is over 10.
sold 10.
Yeah,
I mean, just on the Wii. When you combine the GameCube and the Wii U version, then what other? There wasn't. I mean, there hasn't been that many. That's the thing. People talk about
Skyward Sword sell.
Zelda's never
Skyward
been
Sword
like
was
the
pretty
biggest.
low at like 4
Yeah,
or
Skyward
5.
Sword was way lower than the other.
Barely
releases.
4, I
I think
think.
it came out at the
It's
end.
borderline trash.
Whoa!
Wow.
No,
No, it
it
wasn't-
came out.
it wasn't
It came out at the
trash.
end of
It's a good
the
game.
Wii.
Very
It's
good
just
I mean,
like-
game.
compared to other Zelda games.
Whoa!
No,
Resident
not
Evil
fine,
is wild
It's
enough.
actually a good game on its own.
It's actually
Stop.
it's actually better in a lot of ways than it kind of started to break
Way
up the
better.
formula, except for the backtracking's really my only gripe. But anyway, the point is just correcting that guy, and there's more than just those two games sold 10, and I think Breath of the Wild is gonna sell
And
over
that's not
10.
even count the 2D ones, because those are all over 10, I think.
Yeah,
Oh, except for like maybe a Link Between Worlds.
but when you think about it, though, there hasn't been that many
No.
3D Zelda games, and everybody talks about milking Mario and Zelda. Like,
Zelda only
It's
has.
so
we had Ocarina of
stupid.
Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess,
No, you forgot Wind Waker.
Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sword, and Breath of the
Wind
Wild.
Waker.
Wait, you're forgetting Wind Waker.
Wind Waker,
I
man.
said Wind Waker.
Oh, I didn't hear Wind Waker.
Right after Twilight Princess. There's been 6, including Breath of the Wild. Like, it's just so crazy to think.
Well, to be fair, I mean, it's the same thing with
6
Mario. Mario
roller
only
coasters.
has, I think, 3D Mario only has like what 6 mainline games.
This might be 7 if you count the 3DS Super Mario 3D
Oh yeah, if
Land.
you count 3D Land, I guess.
Yeah. Over the course of over 20 years, y'all.
Yeah.
More, 30 years.
And then milking them. That's crazy.
I know. And people talk about I was watching a lot of Game of the Year type videos and reading comments, and you see people salty, that their PS4 game wasn't, or Xbox game wasn't Game of the Year, and you see a lot
Xbox
of
game.
yeah, you see
what game?
so true. But you see people still trying to spread that. People still trying to spread that bullshit that it's milked franchises, and it's like, oh, Mario again. Like it just immediately points out that they haven't played these games, because you know that there's just
They're so different.
Well,
they play so different.
It's a flawed argument, because what they're really saying is
they're adding Mario Kart. They're adding Mario Super Paper Mario. I mean, they're adding
I think they're more Mario as the
IP
IP that's milked, not necessarily.
But even if you're talking about platforms, and you're still just pressing B to jump, like, come on, like, what has Gears of War changed? Like, what
I say you're still just hitting the R buttons to shoot.
What Halo changed? So
Assassin's Creed came out in what, 2007? How many Assassin's Creed games have we had since 2007?
Well, Uncharted every year. Uncharted is a PlayStation 3 generation game, and already has 4 games and what, 2 spin-offs technically.
Yeah.
But didn't the Xbox One, for example, the Xbox One got like 3 Forzas already? It's like, come on.
Oh, it's more than
You don't even want to talk about Forza.
5, 6, and 7, and Horizon 2 and 3. So there's 5 Forza games.
Yeah, but I was saying, I'm pretty sure it was 5. It's literally been a Forza every year.
Complete hypocrisy.
Forza's terrible, dude. I hate that fucking franchise just because of that.
I don't mind it. It's just you don't need them every other year.
That's great. Those are great games. It's just like, oh, do I need one every year?
Oh, I'm racing Nürburgring again. Ooh, wow! Now it looks a little better. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, those games are at least the mainline Forza games. Those are hundreds of hours types of games, and you can't get through that when you. Oh, here comes the next one. You just barely through the last one, and it's just like, come on. Because you're still unlocking all the cars and all that stuff.
Can I just ask like a legit question, because I really don't know? What is the difference between the mainline Forza games and the Horizon games?
Well, Horizon's like open world sort of.
Horizon's more arcadey. Forza's
Horizon's
Gran Turismo,
riding dirt, riding just off. It's an open world, and you can just drive wherever you want. You get an off-road vehicle, you can go down, drive off the road onto the beach, and it's like if you've never played a racing game,
Speed,
it's like a Need for Speed. You run into You just drive around and, here's an event, I can go racing. Whereas Forza is just go to the category, pick a race it, go to the next one. Oh, you can only, this is Corvettes only. You have
it's a sim game.
It's Corvette, and it's all sim.
Oh, wow.
Racing laps and
get parts and update your vehicle tires and all that stuff.
Y'all killing me with this Forza talk.
Yeah.
But I say,
y'all killing me.
I had one.
The man asked the question.
I bought Forza 1, and then I played like 3 or 4, and I'm like, it's the same fucking game. Like it's the same game again.
It is racing, so it's not a whole.
But it's the same tracks. They took the Xbox original version, and brought it to Xbox 360, and it's the exact same tracks, exact same cars. It's like nothing new, and
they still have the Xbox original crowd in the game.
But let's stop talking about that. Let's talk about the future.
Oh yes,
the future.
Where's Muhammad when you need him?
Yeah. he'd be talking about how great Forza 7 is, but anyway, there's been a lot of evidence pointing towards a Nintendo Direct happening in January.
Yeah,
11th.
It seems even without that, like to me, it seems so almost obvious at this point.
Yeah.
What Nintendo did last year, early January, they laid out basically, here's our games, here's some partners. There were surprises, but they laid out Mario Odyssey, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, ARMS, 1-2 Switch, trying to think, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Splatoon 2. They showed all those games in that January 12th event. Had EA on talking about FIFA, and all those games came out.
Yeah.
And plus a bunch of stuff.
On time.
Mm-hmm. No delays, all that. Maybe it's because the way they had it set up.
Yeah.
And it worked. Nintendo had a great year, so I really think they're just going to repeat that and just. And
guess what? If it's even like 80% of how good it was this year, the haters gonna be like, "See, Nintendo let us down." See, Nintendo is just it was a fluke.
I really think there's like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, ARMS, caliber games that we didn't know about are going to be announced for 2018 and all come out. And I think, you know, the Amazon listing, they have placeholder box, you know, basically, and EA leaked it. Like, I think it's guaranteed at this point, but it's just exciting to think that this is going to be Nintendo's strategy, and I think it's brilliant. Just to early January lay out the year with their major titles, and you know, Farming Warriors. They showed all these games came out.
I mean, I honestly think that way through the Wii U life cycle, it was like, all right, yo, we got to get our shit together. The Wii U is dead in the water. Let's go plan for the next system hardcore now. You know what I'm saying? Like the drought of the last year of Wii U, that was just them planning for this year, you know, and next year.
Definitely. And
last year and now this year.
So
merging those merging the 3DS development studios with the console ones and all that stuff was going on. So.
Yeah.
So we know, you know, there's a Fire Emblem game in the works. We know there's Shin Megami Tensei or whatever. I don't know if that's supposed to be 2018 or not.
No, I don't think it is, because they said they just started working on it.
Yeah.
All right. So we know Yoshi and Kirby, you know, are 2018. I fully expect to see, you know, new trailers and info, like gameplay of games we haven't seen, and those, you know, those games for sure. What about like a surprise, something surprising? I mean, what?
Like completely surprising?
Like, are not surprising in that we don't know what's in the works, but surprising that it's going to be shown in January and coming out in 2018. It could be that, or it could
Smash
be
Brothers,
or it can just be like a complete surprise. So Twilight,
Yeah, I feel like Smash Brothers isn't like us. That's like a one.
No, it is. If it comes out this year, that would
no. If it was like Smash Brothers 5, that would be a surprise.
Yeah, that would be a surprise, but not like
because I'm thinking it's a port. I'm not thinking it's a new game. If it's a new game, that's a different story.
I think it's been long enough to say that it's going to be a new Smash Brothers game. Like if it was a port, I think they'd have had that shit like this year.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, the original Smash Brothers, I mean, Smash 4 came out in 2014, and the final DLC came out in like 2016.
Right.
Yeah.
So this would be like the second year of it not actually being like supported anymore.
Game. You're right. You're right.
So I feel like it'd be a little bit surprising if it was like Smash 5.
Maybe we'll get Melee HD.
At work, oh god,
Bruh, I feel like they just need to do that in
like
general.
The same exact engine as Smash Brothers 4.
Oh, people already been modding Smash 4, man. People had to share their Wii U's and modded that game. It just, bruh, woo. They're just waiting for that Nintendo takedown notice.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think the gameplay is perfected. Just kind of take the best of all the games, all, you know, characters and stages, and lump them in and call it Smash 5 with some obviously new characters. You're going to have Inklings and potential Xenoblade characters and what other ARMS characters, maybe, you know. So that, to me, that's Smash 5, whether they call it Smash 5 or just call it Smash Brothers for Switch. I mean,
you let Sakurai get a longer rest because he be tripping. He be working too hard on them games.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I think when they announced the Smash 4 at like 2013, not 2013, it was 2012, right when the Wii U came out, Sakurai was like, you didn't even tell me we were working on this game. What do you mean it's coming out for the Wii U?
Here's a graphic.
Yeah, like you just gonna get this graphic. Where did you get the graphic from? I didn't make that shit.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
And you'll notice
that was the funniest fucking thing. You were like, oh yeah, Sakurai didn't even know about it when they announced it.
It's like, bitch, that was still making
his ass together.
He was like, you better give me the money today.
Well, it was like, we gonna do this, Sakurai, because we know you like to take your goddamn time. We ain't got time. We ain't got time.
You could tell
that's it.
That man got arthritis.
They took a lot of elements from Brawl, and just kind of put it in HD. There's some stages that don't barely look any better than they did on the Wii, you know, like
oh yeah.
So, you know, if they did that again, I mean, they could have it out. But anybody else, Terrell, what do you think? Surprise, either a game we know that maybe it's gonna be surprising that it's 2018, like a Pokemon or something.
No, are we talking Nintendo specifically or just things coming to
Nintendo?
Okay, Nintendo specifically. I would say new IP, personally. I would say new IP that comes out in like 6 months. I would argue it's probably going to be another variation on a either shooter or fighter for them. I'm thinking fighter.
That's going to happen. That's going to be a thing.
I'm thinking it's a fighter. I think they're going to try their hand at like another original type. Nothing against ARMS specifically, but I think in terms of genres that Nintendo themselves do or don't do, the two genres that have always been their weakest has been like fighters and shooters. Because I mean, if you got Fire Emblem coming out, you already got your RPG covered. So I'm thinking I'm more leaning it towards being a fighter than a shooter. Because Splatoon 2 is going to be supported until this year, I think.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah.
Robert, you got any hopes?
Of course, I'm
Animal
hoping
Crossing.
that Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I fucking knew it.
I feel like I feel like this happens every year. I say I think this is the year. I think it's the year. and it's like eventually I'm gonna be right.
You're gonna be right this year, that's for sure.
Is that how the Metro fans were feeling until last year?
You didn't even play the last Animal Crossing that came out.
Which one? You talking about the mole? Come on. I
heard it's basically Animal Crossing.
He's like, come on, man.
That's not Animal Crossing.
That's not Animal Crossing, man.
That's a cheap imitation.
It isn't?
I have a lot of hours into it. It's a lot more Animal Crossing than
It's
Happy
very,
Home Design.
it is a lot. There's a lot of really core Animal Crossing.
Well, come on, guys. Robert doesn't play games.
But you know, it's hard to like play on a cell phone. Like I'm trying
to play on a TV, dude.
This is the guy who wanted to switch before anybody realized they wanted it. You know,
because he wanted to play it on the go, but he wants to play.
No, it's not necessarily always on the go. It's just remember I always said because now all those handheld games that I don't want to play on a handheld is going to be on a TV.
That's what I was talking about. That's what I was alluding to. The fact that he doesn't really care for handheld, you know, the way it's traditionally been anymore. He wanted the Switch, yeah.
so I'm waiting for this.
You tell him to go to a cell phone and then swipe his finger across the screen now?
Yeah, even smaller. Get my screen all oily.
So, Retro, what's a game maybe you expect as a surprise, or maybe one you would love but you wouldn't bet money on it?
Okay. That's something I'm expecting to see next year. So for me, the surprise will be if it comes this year. And I feel nobody's mentioning this. I think I'm the first on the internet to say this. Yes, I'm going to say that. I think Nintendo, what they did with Metroid, I think they're going to build a game. It's going to look incredible, play better than any of the franchise. It's going to be the best of the best. It's going to look gorgeous. I think they're going to do Star Fox the way it's supposed to be done.
That's pretty bold.
That man is kind of reckless.
No, that's what I'm expecting it next year. If they do it this year, it's a surprise. I think from the whole shitstorm that Zero received, I think Nintendo's like, damn, we really let the fans down. And what they're doing with Metroid, they're gonna build off of it and they're gonna build something incredible. And I swear it's gonna come. If it comes this year, it's a surprise.
All right.
I'm trying to think. Do you? I don't know if you think it's
Star Fox is not dead.
I was gonna say, do you think it's internally developed? Or do you think they got another person to work with them? For Star Fox.
I think they got Namco.
Zero was done by Platinum, wasn't it?
Well, it's held by a
Yeah,
couple members.
I think they're probably gonna do it a bit at the very least more internal than what they did there. I think they might like kick Miyamoto off of it, kick Platinum off of it, or completely handle it to Platinum, for example, and just do it like it's either gonna be all Nintendo or not Nintendo, and not this half-ass shit because I feel Miyamoto fucking screwed Star Fox, and I think they
wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, I
he always wants to put his motion controls in my games, man.
You need to completely hand it off to somebody else.
Yeah.
I think I'm done. I liked Zero, but I don't think there's anything more they can do with Star Fox.
Oh, there is. Wait for my video.
Oh, yeah, I think
a plug, shameless plug.
I don't think. I don't think they.
Hey, listen, I wasn't gonna say anything to you. Shut the fuck up, right?
Because they'd have to pull a Breath of the Wild on it to and really take it out of its.
No, we just need a good game.
Yeah, exactly. There will be some Breath of the Wild elements in it. Wait for my video. Wait.
Okay.
Yeah, wait for his video.
Oh, we lost Twilight. I didn't notice one. If he just bounced, but T, is there a game you're kind of expecting to be a surprise or something you would maybe not bet on, but something you'd hope for?
Yeah, of course. That would be Retro's sci-fi action adventure game.
Yeah,
because that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a sci-fi.
You mean Scalebound, right?
Yeah.
I think I really think Retro's game will be shown. that's if Nintendo's doing this January thing like they did last year's, which is what I'm thinking they're going to do. So any chance that we see Metroid Prime in a couple weeks?
No
footage.
No.
I think at
in-game?
E3 we could see it. It's
I
not
think-
going to come out
yeah.
this year.
Wait, are you talking in game or you just talking about like CGI?
Come on, this is Nintendo here.
Once again,
This dude said
you
never
answer
trust
my
me.
the point I'm making is that CGI is possible. I don't think we're going to see gameplay though.
Yeah, it depends on when they start it, but I think E3 is probably more likely. I'm trying to think. They said they were gonna go to non-traditional IPs and wave race. This is my game. I say every
Please don't.
That's another game.
It's gonna be Wave Race F-Zero. One of the two is gonna.
That's
show
I
up.
one of
wanted to be
those-
Kid Icarus. That's what I want. Personally.
I don't know what they could do with wave race in today's type, gamers to like draw them in. You can't just have an arcade racer with an announcer going good.
There's got to be
Yeah,
RPG
you
elements.
have you seen Forza? Come on.
There's got to be RPG elements.
I think if you made
What? How?
if they make a just
Savage.
focus 100% wave physics, dynamic weather and wave physics, and then just come up with maybe like a Burnout Paradise, Need for Speed, kind of like not an open world, but just like races wherever you go. It's not just, hey, pick this level and you could race it. Like, I don't know that they will, but I would love to see a true effort put into, or a really good effort put into a wave race game. And it's probably never going to happen, but if it did, now's the time. Nintendo, the Switch, it has the best chance of selling if they get it out in this year, 2018.
Would people go for that?
What if
though?
they made it? What if they made a game where you combined Wave Race with oh my god, what is it called?
Like a 1080 or
1080.
Pilot Wings.
But what's the other? Pilot Wings. Thank you. Pilot Wings. That's what I was thinking about. That would be an incentive to buy that type of game. Maybe you couldn't sell the one game, but you could sell it like that as a three.
As long as it wasn't like a half-ass Pilot Wings and a half-ass wave race.
Yeah,
together.
or some Wii type of thing where it's just like Wii waves.
You need it needs to be like a game changer, like Wave Race 64 was. Like people are just talking, oh my god, I can't believe the water physics and the dynamic waves and weather like in this game. Like I could see that just sucking people in just of the wow factor, like my Wave Race 64 did. But it was Wave Race 64 still controls amazing. Like it's still a great playing game.
I like it still better than Blue Storm. I don't care for Blue Storm as much.
Yeah, I don't know. Something just didn't go. Something went wrong
Feel
there.
right. Yeah, it didn't have that feel.
But so 2018, what do you guys think? Can it top 2017 for Nintendo? I say no, because 2018 is not going to have the best game ever made. I think that automatically brings
That's
it down.
debatable, sir.
Two of the best games ever made.
Plus, you got 3D Mario, and in my opinion, not the best one ever, but great game. Plus Xenoblade, Splatoon, new IP in ARMS. Like I think Nintendo could have a potentially just as good a year in this year as last year, but I don't think there's any way to top it.
I don't know. If that Pokemon game releases this year, I would cry.
It won't be better as like single game impact as 27.
But it might have more. Yeah.
But I think the volume will be better. We'll make it better. I think there will be a bigger volume. I think they're gonna tug at our nostalgia strings a little bit more too this year, and we're gonna get some stuff. We're gonna get surprised. I think this year more than we did last year.
I don't think Nintendo themselves, IP wise, can really blow us back unless it's just new IPs with very inventive gameplay mechanics. But depending on what third party devs want to hop on and what games that come out of that there are a few IPs that if I could get sequels to, that'd be it, son. Default 2018 would be better just for those reasons.
And I think Pokemon is coming, because when has Pokemon missed the holiday season?
Hasn't done that since 13 or 14.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a little while.
I think 2014 was the last time it missed it, and it was only for like a year, and then the next year you had another one.
What was it? Was the gap between X and Y in the previous game? I forget what the previous.
Oh, Black and White.
Black and White 2, and then was there a year in between that and X and Y?
Yeah, there was.
And was I the only one that watched the E3 thing when the dude was like, it's still a little bit, it's about a little over a year away.
Yeah, they were like a year to a year and a half.
That would make it happen this fall. So I don't know why people were so like, there's no way it could happen. You know,
it can happen because all they're gonna do. I mean, they already got 3D models. If it was like maybe going from like maybe black and white, you know, the pixel graphics to like a Unreal Engine game, that's a different story. But they already got the models. Literally, all at this point, they just gotta just make them higher polygon and shit.
Get your story together. I mean, obviously,
people already got leaks out for Pokemon's for the game anyway. People were talking about the Chinese leak, the script is already done for it and shit. Like, hell, it's not too surprising if we got like at least a name for the new games and shit. So not too surprising.
I just don't see Game Freak. I don't see a Pokemon Company missing another holiday on Switch. I just I don't see that happening. That's why I believe it's coming.
So let me lay out, because I know there are some YouTubers who would lead you to believe that 2018 is a lock to be better than 2017 for the Switch. And here's like not gonna happen, but if it happened, this is the only way 2018 could be better for me, in my opinion, than 2017. And that's if Smash comes out, Bayonetta 3 comes out, Metroid Prime 4 comes out. And then all the other games we know.
God.
That's the only way it could top.
That's a reckless prediction.
That's the only way it could top 20.
And all that is possible. None of that is impossible. That's the scary thing.
Metroid is probably the only one because we don't know who's working on it yet.
Yeah. But you know who's working on it.
I mean, didn't even talk about all, like Mario plus Rabbids came out this year and all, like, or last year in 2017. So it's just like that for me is the only way 2018's. And Clocked It, I know he was in the chat. I wonder if he thinks 2018 can be topped. So if you guys can think of a scenario, what would it take? Terrell, you kind of already said Pokemon by itself, but you would need something.
Not by itself, but I mean that would at least put it on par for me. That would put it on par with some of the games we already know, and if we got some third-party announcements, like for me, the two things I would love to see, and I've said it before, is if I got a sequel to Tatsunoko vs. Capcom 2.
Oh my gosh.
Or fucking Darkstalkers. If I got one of those as fighting games, I cry. And the other game is if I got a sequel to, and Square Enix has already talked about it, so I swear if they fuck with my emotions, someone's getting shot. If there's a game on the DS called The World Ends With You, if that sequel came out,
oh my gosh,
that's it. That is absolute. It's it. It's gonna be one of those things where, where's your live reaction, Terrell? I can't do it. I broke my fucking monitor. I broke my monitor in pure excitement. It only take like 3 games for me to be real with you.
Animal Crossing.
That's how petty I am. I don't give a damn.
No, Senra Kagura or whatever.
That doesn't get me excited. Also, they're still doing the remake of the first game on the PS4 this year. So I don't care. They're taking the 3DS games, making PS4 remakes. I don't give a fuck about that. So,
all right, Robert. I mean, you still got a lot of 2017 games to play.
You mean like all? You mean like all, right?
What would be like beyond Animal Crossing that could just like take 2018 ahead of 2017 for Nintendo?
It's so hard because to me, it's like alongside Zelda and Mario, it's tough to really get higher than that. But it'd have to be Animal Crossing. Smash would have to come out. And I'd have to. I guess, shit, man. I guess it'd have to blow my balls off if there was like this new Pokemon like if for some reason if I could really get into Pokemon and it's actually like.
What about Rabbids Go Home 3 or whatever? You
wanted to go all out like that. Listen, well, there's not. I mean, there has to be a second one.
God!
I thought there was a second one.
Well, Rabbids Go Home. If Rabbids Go Home 2, if that happened, that'd be awesome. What? I mean that game is so good. It's the best Rabbids game. Easily.
Anyway,
But
I
yeah,
do want to
Stay in
say
the hole out there,
That'd be like
Robert.
a low key announcement. It'd be one of, trip me out. It'd be one of those low key announcements, and you'll see Robert's reaction video, and he's like the only one screaming about it. Like everybody else is like, "Oh, it's a rabbit."
Looking around like, what
Robert's
am I
like, "Oh
missing?"
my god!" Mm.
so.
Best-selling Rabbids game. Oh, look, this is the best turd I ever dropped. Look at it.
Chill out.
Retro, is there a lineup that could of 2018 of Nintendo games that could top 2017?
Okay, like to realistically actually top this year for me, because I mean we got Zelda, we got Mario, we got so much shit because Xenoblade, which a lot of people never trusted Nintendo to actually finish in time, and they did without a single delay. To beat 2017, I feel there's like this 3-tier level cake you need. First place, you either need Pokemon or Animal Crossing, for not only for me personally, but for the massive sales that will get the Switch. Both those games are one of, after Mario, probably the biggest system sellers Nintendo actually has, that draws fans from all over the place. Then you need like a revival of an old IP that doesn't even need to be like Star Fox or F-Zero. For example, this year we had Bomberman, which might not have sold immensely, but it was still like this new IP that came back. And I feel you need several like Doom level third party shit. Like we got like Skyrim this year and Doom, and I think we're already getting Wolfenstein, something like that.
Wolfenstein, yeah.
We need like that complete cake to actually beat what we had this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm game of the year contenders. I think you need to have at least one game as a game of the year contender. I think otherwise, then it's just a bunch of really good games instead of some like amazing games, and then also some good games. Like if I'd be okay with a year full of just really good games and nothing like.
It's gonna be hard not just Nintendo, for any company to top Zelda, like what Zelda did. So that's not a every year type of situation scenario. That's just a once in a generation type of game. So it's like was 96 better or 97 better on the N64 than 96 without Mario? Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff that we didn't think about that came out. We had GoldenEye for one, which was amazing. We need a GoldenEye type of scenario. Maybe that's what Retro's game could be. It could be that GoldenEye game that we don't see coming.
Fire Emblem's pretty popular. That's almost guaranteed. I think that's a shoo-in for 2018, plus Yoshi and Kirby. So we know we've got some good games, already slated.
That's true, because Fire Emblem we've known about since like February.
Yeah.
So yeah,
January, a mainline Fire Emblem game on a console. That's just
about to say mainline Fire Emblem. Actually, that's what I would say. I'm expecting to see at least a trailer for that. Yeah. It may not come out until later in the year, but I want to see a fucking trailer. But that's also because.
Shout outs to Zobi. He wants Nintendo to send the death blow to Sony this year.
Well, Sony has what? God of War. Actually, every game we've seen at E3 for the last 2 years. So
yeah, it's got
2 to 3.
Some of those got to happen. Like Spider-Man's gonna happen, and
now they're promoting
Detroit's gonna happen, and
they're still promoting Spider-Man, and that doesn't even have a fucking release date.
They're promoting God of War now on TV ads for early 2018.
It's getting close.
Yeah,
on TV ads. It says early 2018. They don't even have a month.
Bro, they've been having those ads for God of War before they even.
Yeah, it was like E3, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think it's when they started popping up.
Sony spends a lot of money in advertising. Man.
They do. I mean, they've been showing God of War in their advertisements since this time last year.
Yeah.
So, but the one thing I was talking about, my fantasy to top 2017 lineup of games, I think that's really going to be the 2019 lineup: Smash, Bayonetta 3, Metroid Prime 4. Like, I think that 2019 could top 2017. I don't think 2018 will.
Depends on. For me, it just depends on. It depends on the one or two first party and what kind of third party we get. Because we don't have as much as we have like some cool.
See, I'm not talking about third party though. I'm talking about Nintendo themselves topping what they did this year.
Oh, okay.
That was kind of that's the mindset.
That's gonna be hard, man. Like I said, they made 2, 3. If you count Xenoblade Chronicles, 2. They made like 3 of the. That's a triforce of greatness. It's gonna be
just like think about this. Let's say Smash, Bayonetta 3, Metroid Prime 4, and Mario Kart 9 all come out in 2019. That would be.
Well, yeah, I mean that would be pretty crazy. That'd be amazing.
Well, like I said, I personally already think that Metroid and Pokemon are both going to happen in 19. I don't see those coming out this year.
I think Pokemon's guaranteed. I'd be shocked if it didn't. But
Metroid, yeah, 29.
Metroid is there's less chance of Metroid, but Pokemon, I feel like that's
a Pokemon on the Switch in 2018. I think it's guaranteed. But
especially when I heard about that the main team wasn't even working on the Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Right.
So it's like, well, that means you already had your B team working on the game that came out like a few months ago. Mm-hmm. So the main team's probably been working since like June at least on the main series game for Switch. So it wouldn't surprise me if that came out this year.
Yeah, it's ain't the Wii U. They don't have the development troubles that they had on the Wii U.
I think
well, Game Freak's also used to dealing with old ass hardware, so they gotta they're just trying to adjust anything that has a fucking HD quality in there. They're fucking probably got count.
What do you think Fire Emblem's gonna do? Like, they're gonna keep the same kind of aesthetic?
They can't because it'll look too fucking good. You can't watch. Hell, listen, when one of Fate's major achievements was, oh my god, the models have feet. That should tell you that, and they haven't made a mainline, and they haven't made a console game since the Wii.
I'm talking about the actual
the 3DS
Battlefield
power, man.
I was thinking more about the Battlefield itself.
Yeah, he means like how it's actually going to look.
Oh, it's fucking beautiful. They'll probably actually have like full 3D models and shit because it's a static Battlefield.
They could do like Mario plus Rabbids did, a full 3D, but you still have your squares you can where you can
could, but I don't think there's any real point in that because I would say, I mean, it's nothing against Mario Rabbids, but I would say Fire Emblem always had more.
It doesn't really
complicated level structure.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I think they're gonna get rid of you're on this map and you fight the battle and then it like has to like zoom in or go to a different screen.
They probably won't do that anymore.
No, it'll be more like I think it'll be more like a Final Fantasy type of.
Yeah, I would literally look at the Wii. What was it? Radiant? Is it Radiant? Yeah, I think it's Radiant Dawn.
Radiant Dawn, yeah.
Was the last 3D game. It's like that, where you still got the giant field and you're still moving things around the grid. It'll zoom in, but it won't be like a transition. It'll be like, oh, there it is. We're in the field now. Throw your fucking axe, you piece of shit.
That's exactly what that line will be.
Exactly. It'll be set in New York City, and people will be getting shot by games.
That was a Wii game, though. I think it's gonna be a more like not real time. Not like it's still gonna be like the send your units the way to where you want them to battle. I think it's. I expect like the characters in the world in the battling to kind of happen all on the same kind of screen instead of what they've done before. So we'll see though. I might be wrong. I think they only did that because of the limitations of the hardware.
Oh yeah, that probably was
even the Wii. I mean, the Wii is not some powerhouse or anything.
Well, the Wii didn't even have the effect. The Wii was literally, it kind of like faded the black and you went to like the 3D model where they were both facing each other and it was like, oh, all right, then. I mean, it worked, and it was pretty fast transition. It's just more of maybe they're just readjusting to the whole. Okay, we can make games that have like high poly counts now, and not to worry about animating feet and shit. Because I mean, as much crap as the 3DS games get for not looking good because they're 3DS games, there's a lot of fluid animation going on in a lot of those sequences, and they gave a lot of character to the characters, if that makes sense. So.
It could be titty flops in Fire Emblem on the Switch.
It depends on the direction they go with the theming of the story. I mean, like, because I mean, Echoes didn't really have it, but that's also because Echoes was in a different style. So it kind of depends on. Hell, I'm still curious about the graphical style. Like, if they're gonna go for a different art style or not, because they're kind of doing this thing where they're doing kind of anime, but like people's big issue with like Fates and Awakening is Fates and Awakening was like super anime.
Yeah,
and Echoes kind of dialed it back. So a lot of people are like, are they going to go full anime again? Or are they going to hang in this middle ground? Or are they going to try to do that old school, rustic, medieval look? That Fire Emblem has been originally known for. Because I like the anime style. They just, you don't want to drive people away from like characters who have like ridiculous faces and hair colors.
Yeah, I kind of miss that medieval look.
I don't really see them stepping away from all that waifu bullshit, though.
Oh, that's not going to go away. They just need to implement it better because Fate's got a little reckless with, oh, here's your kids. Where they come from? Oh, from the swamp somewhere. What? Go get him. Okay. And that's not a joke. That's literally how they did it in the game. It's like your husband and wife are married. Your kid's out in the swamp somewhere. Go get him. All right, I'm gonna go play this nap and go get my kid. All right, it's cool.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's because it wasn't implemented properly. They didn't like Awakening had a plot reason. Fucking Fates was just like, well, it was in the other games, so of course we like it here. So
what do you guys think for like a third party game coming to the Switch in 2018, like a Doom, complete surprise, no one expected type of? Do you think it will have anything like that?
I don't know about on
game?
that level.
I'm trying to think, what game could you do?
I mean,
I think there's several. I think, for example, like I don't see it happen, but for example, something like Red Dead, one of those super giant titles, I swear that's gonna come.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
think you'll see Call of
Red
Duties this year.
I think
I would say
GTA
I would see GTA 5 before I see Red Dead.
GTA 5 that's happening.
Or that, or we get like a sequel to Bully or something.
I mean, something that make impact. Something
impact that's new, not some old.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, in terms of new stuff, I don't.
I'm thinking some developers are going to be late to the table with their games. Might be working on it now, haven't announced yet. You know, like I don't follow a lot of third party stuff, so I'm not even sure what's out there right now that could come to the Switch.
There's not a whole lot out there that I'm like would be overly excited for anyway. Like
maybe Tekken or King of Fighters.
I brought it up a bunch of times. If Rise of the Tomb Raider, if they brought the first two Tomb Raider games reboots, to me,
I bought them bitches again. Son.
I'd be more excited than I was for Doom.
If we got Sunset Overdrive, I would care. That'd be a lot.
But again, those are old.
They're old, but that's what I'm thinking. Like Doom was a year and a half old by the time we got it. So,
Wolfenstein only be a few months old though.
Well, I was thinking more about Wolfenstein because it's a newer game.
Yeah, like are you talking like brand new third party games? Or
I'm just talking about a third party game make a splash. You know, you can't predict third party games you don't know about. So we obviously got to talk about games we know. So I mean, you can
maybe like Injustice 2 or
Dino Crisis, yo.
What? What?
You haven't heard the Dino Crisis rumors?
No. What the fuck?
Oh,
that's a thing.
Is it gonna be first
apparently
person?
the developers were saying that the fans really want it. One of those things. It's like, what does that even mean? What?
Yeah.
If the fans really want, so if you got to get like 100 retweets, 1,000 retweets,
right.
million. I mean, what does that mean? If the fans want it, obviously the fans want old games to come back.
I need you to pander to your audience, T. Pander to them.
I don't understand what that means if the fans want it. Of course,
it's like that makes no sense. It's like, how can I express?
Yeah. How do you gauge that? Like, what are you gonna do to gauge if the fans want it or not?
Yeah,
I mean,
just releasing the damn thing.
They have to retweet this tweet. I mean, what the fuck?
Those were like Resident Evil clones. Anyway, like.
No, I like Dino Crisis. I liked it better than some of the Resident Evil games.
Are they going to do that same formula? Or are they going to make it first-person, slow controlling?
No, it'll be more action-oriented, probably.
Yeah, I think I don't know if LA Noire probably didn't light the sales on fire on any system, so I don't know. GTA 5, like everyone talks about that. Like, I mean, it's a big game. It's like 80 million combined.
It's still selling.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it still sells.
It's a trash game. You know, it's a bad gameplay on that game.
That sounds like a lot of trauma.
Average or at best, you know. Like,
wow, he is salty as shit.
It wasn't impressive. I mean, people are so caught up in like the technical, the world they created a real life city, and you know, it had all this cool stuff. It was impressive on the 360, and like the online, I guess, is for people that play it. I played it about 5 hours, and it's just nonsense. I guess it's for people that just like to Grand Theft Auto for the just go steal a car and create havoc. Like, I mostly try to play the story and do some, you know, side activities. You know, I never got much I didn't get much out of the just creating chaos, because the world really, it had more limitations than a lot of people want to admit to.
It had more limitations than
you know, they don't want to admit to it that it's not as like Breath of the Wild has way more freedom to do things. Like, you can't, it's not like the cops are chasing you, but Really, that's all it is. You create a crime and cops chasing you, try to outrun them. It becomes basically a driving game. You know, yeah, there's some pretty fun stuff, but to me, like that was short lived. And I don't care if GTA 5 comes, but it would be a big deal if it did for a lot of people. And I guess something like that would top Doom, I think, for most people because it's a way bigger franchise, way bigger game.
People want that game on the go, man. That's why that thing is.
Yeah, I was saying that my whole point is just gonna make money. That's my concern.
And it's gonna make money, and
it's gonna make money no matter. Like they've already made billions of dollars on that game. So what?
But you can never have enough money, Juice.
We're not gonna make. They're not gonna make a ton of even if they made 5 million off it, isn't that worth it? Like I never got that mindset. They've already made over $1 billion.
I think you're asking for you're telling me have they had enough money? No, of course not.
People with money.
Come on.
But because it sold 80 million copies, they made $1 billion+ on combined 5 other versions, and it seems like the mentality of that people accept are like, well, they're not gonna. This game's only going to maybe sell 500,000, $1 million. They're still going to make 5, 10, 15 million on, if they charge full price for it. Like,
but I want more.
That's not enough. Like, it's not an excuse. That's not a good excuse.
I can blow that money in a day if I have bad enough life decisions.
Have you seen these executives' offices?
Yeah, come on, man. I need another gold-plated picture of myself.
Exactly.
I can always have more.
I need another diamond umbrella rack for the office.
Fucking Platinum Games was just recently discussed that they want to do their own IP and maybe even self-publish. And they said they don't have it in them to do a big team $10 million budget.
Yeah, it's not
to them, $10 million budget's a huge budget.
Huge.
And they said they're going to end up with about a 20-person team, and they're going to try it and make a game. And it's like, fucking what GTA costs like $200-300 million. It's just hard to believe.
Well, think of
movie making price.
Well, I mean that's kind of the reason why. That was part of the reason why I think the Wii did so well is because you had a lot of these, especially Japan. I've noticed there aren't that many high tier Japanese teams that can afford to make these insane fucking budget games where the game needs to sell like 6 million copies just to break even and shit. And I think probably. And the reason why I bring it up is because, like, when we were moving to HD, you had a lot of Japanese developers. I'm gonna put some games out on the Wii.
Yeah,
you were like, well, why the fuck would you do that? You'd say, look, because it's cheap, it has the biggest install base, and there's the highest position of making a lot of money without having to spend a ridiculous money. Yeah,
I mean,
so sometimes you gotta bite the bullet on that shit.
Yeah, like I'm sure Mario plus Rabbids budget wasn't even a tenth of Assassin's Creed Origins.
Oh yeah.
Still, I mean, we don't know the numbers, but I think it's probably safe to say it's close to $1 million or
that's what
in the ballpark, and like, but you look at how much. Let's just throw a number out. Let's say it made $15 million on top of their budget. Like compare that to if Assassin's Creed sells 10 million, and that's 100 million in sales or whatever. But if the budget's 90 million, it's like. I don't know why they have to look at it as it's got to make hundreds of millions in sales. But
I think it's also because the money you get from those games go to like other games. So it's like, yeah, you may have made $80 billion off or $80 million off of GTA. Well, like almost half of that went into Red Dead 2.
Probably.
I mean, you got to understand, you're talking about companies that have 800,000 employees plus. So they got to sustain those people by high risk, high reward games.
And unfortunately, from what I've heard,
and people get fired.
Because what I've heard is that GTA Online is going to show Rockstar and who's their parent? Who's the one publishing games for them?
Take-Two.
Take-Two.
Where it was like, oh, look at all these microtransactions. We made so much money off of this. We're going to keep doing that. And that's why people are scared for Red Dead 2 because like, oh, they're gonna put out their Red Dead 2 online shit and scout people for money because now they know there's a hustle there and they can do it.
Well, this is the worst time to do it because people are paying attention to that stuff. Right?
Well, no, because think about it. This year they ripped on what was it, Destiny and the Lord of the Rings game, but you didn't hear much about GTA, and GTA's been doing it for a while now.
I didn't encounter any real world money when I was playing online, but that was in 2013. So
Yeah, they implemented it, I think, like that the next year or something. Because then they get ported to PS4 and Xbox One. Yeah, I think when they got ported, that's when that whole GTA Online thing kicked out. And no one really talked about it because everyone was focusing on other games. And they've been literally running around doing this shit for like years. Which is why people are a little paranoid about Red Dead 2 having that similar issue. Well, if you can make money, you're going to find a way to make money. And as we've seen with a lot of developers, especially in the last few years, fucking over consumer is how much can we fuck them without them getting mad about it. And that's what it is. Like how deep can I get before you're like, ow? And they're like, oh, I'll wait a little while, give it a few like months and shit. All right, go a little bit deeper. Ow, okay, and it's and that's what
you're being conditioned.
Yeah, you're getting fucked the whole time.
Every time.
You're gonna go fuck. You're just taking a little bit deeper every few months or another year or so.
Here's the thing about specifically Red Dead. You talk about taking half of the money they made off GTA 5. Well, Red Dead didn't sell anywhere near what GTA 3 sold. No. Like I'm looking at VG charts and combined.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They'll probably do that Red Dead 2 online bullshit because now they know how to get more.
Maybe that's the way they gain money, but I think it'd be pretty risky for them to assume that this is going to have GTA 5 level sales and put $500 million into this game. Like
everybody's talking about this shit like it is.
Like
I don't think it will. I don't think the single player will as much as if you add a multiplayer, you'll get people who don't have no interest in Red Dead to go play that game just because it's another Rockstar game that you can play online.
I get to play as a cowboy.
I get to play as a cowboy and shoot hookers.
Dude, that GTA Online, they make so much money off of the actual money in there, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
People
like
buy
Red Dead, the good and bad thing is that Red Dead has a pedigree of being good, which means that they can get away with this shit for the most part pretty unchecked. They just have to do what they did with GTA, which is hide it, like not have it come out immediately and just start casually sneaking that shit in. Because that's kind of what that was the biggest problem with Star Wars and Destiny. Shit was in there from the get-go. People got mad. They said, all right, we'll take it out for a little while. And I've already heard that Destiny's been trying to sneak it right back in the game.
And Destiny has to because they ain't been selling the shit.
Well, that's true. you a dirty man. Chill out. He's on that fucking body. I know what he's doing over there. Relax,
they're gonna make that money back that they thought they were gonna make. In the
I know. We were trying to get that bitch to deep throat and it didn't work, so we have to go another way. We'll try another angle.
That's all the hype dies. So did the sales apparently on Destiny.
Oh, terrible.
All right. Well, I think that's. I don't know what else we can talk about tonight. So
it's been 2 hours. I think we're good.
Yes, I guess it has. I forget we started early. So I guess we could just say for non-Nintendo for 2018, you guys, looking forward to anything? Expect any, like Sony, Microsoft?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Forza Motorsport 8.
You ain't shit, Rob.
I'm looking forward to the Xbox One X selling about 20 or 30 more units in Japan.
Wow. You know what tripped me out? The biggest week for Xbox One X was like, oh wow, it sold 600 consoles, and you're like, that was an accomplishment for Japan.
That's like 5,000 times the normal amount. Because I'm looking at VG charts just updated to the Black Friday week console sales, and they got the Xbox selling 1.1 million globally, and the Switch at 897,000. 838,000 just in North America bought the Xbox, 200,000 in Europe, and then 397. But 800. The Xbox almost reached PS4 numbers in North America, and it's like Switch at 500,000 in North America. I saw like a few here and there in that week, but for the most part, Nintendo's not like I saw one at Best Buy. A guy was buying it, the last one. So I don't know if they still had shortages or not. They
were sold out. Like I literally went there recently. They had none.
I've seen a couple in stores recently. I think they've been restocked.
But I might have to. I haven't checked because it was cold as fuck today, and I didn't want to go out.
I just don't. I don't know why people still buy the PS4 in these large numbers. I mean, the price is right, $800 or $180, or $200.
I don't know why people buy the Xbox. I don't care about the PlayStation 4. I don't know why you're buying the Xbox.
But 70 million. I mean, almost everybody has one, and yet it's still people are still buying it.
Think about the PS2 though. PS2. So
y'all gotta think about the Wii. The Wii was still selling, and it's like, well, everyone should have a Wii.
The PS2 was outselling the Xbox 360 and the Wii for not the Wii, but close. But it was outselling it for the first year of both of those consoles. So
it's just crazy.
The population is crazy, man. People like new technology.
There must have been about 400,000 people who couldn't find a Switch and said, I'm gonna buy a 3DS because that did pretty well.
Yeah, I'm surprised how well the 3DS sold, dude. Because there were none of those either. All those were gone.
That's crazy.
3DS is just pure profit for Nintendo right now. Pure profit.
I'm about to say they're just making money. Oh, I did want to say real quick about a game I am looking forward to this year that is from a third party. No More Heroes.
Oh yeah.
Because I know that's gotta
strikes again, man. That's gonna be
that's gotta be ready this year. I don't believe that's not.
Oh, that'll be this year.
Yeah, it might be. For like Sony,
James doesn't care. He's like, it might be.
Yeah.
Well, we need a fucking collection. We need a Suda 51 to put out the No More Heroes collection. But that's a different story.
Yeah. It depends on what the game is. I didn't play beta.
You don't want to jack off your Wii, man.
Just never looked interesting. Like.
I never look interested to jack off your Wii, man. I don't believe this, man.
I don't know.
How dare you?
I was in at that time. I had kind of switched over to my Xbox 360, and I was getting into games like Dead Space and BioShock and stuff. Like I was late to the party with those games, but that was about the time the No More Heroes came out. But as far as like PS4, like I mean that Spider-Man game might be good if it is actually there.
Yeah.
If I can actually just like move around in the world and don't have to wait for scripted events, it could be a pretty cool game. God of War could be like pick it up when it's $30, $20, $30, in a few months after it comes out type of game. Other than that, like there's really nothing on third parties that I know of. Like Monster Hunter Worlds doesn't mean anything.
I'm no Dragon Ball Fighters. That's my next.
Dragon Ball Fighter Z, man.
That is gonna be some shit, yo. Let's go.
Even if I was
whatever, don't forget about the 20 or so Capcom ports.
Yeah.
Street Fighter. I mean, that's actually kind of appealing, but
you talking about Street Fighter 5? You're talking about the collection?
The arcade.
Oh, okay.
Really,
Collection maybe. I might fuck with the collection.
I'm all in with Nintendo at this point, and it's gonna be hard to get me to purchase a PS4 game, I think, this year, unless something gets announced and released this year that we don't know about. There's like a Gravity Rush 2 type of game, like that.
Oh, I mean a game with some character? Is that what you're talking about? A game with some character?
Something that stands apart from the rest of the first party lineup.
Oh, that's gonna be rare, man.
Not no damn Days End or Days Gone.
The day is gone. The day is gone.
Isn't that what it's called? Days Gone?
That's what I'm saying. The day has gone.
They're going to show that game for a third straight E3,
I'm so tired of seeing that fucking game.
I feel really sorry for...
What about Last of Us 2, Juice?
That ain't coming.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, that's coming until 2019 probably. But like that's why I love the way Nintendo's like revealing their shit. It works, man. You get it the same year.
Well, at least recently. I'm not
gonna say E3 they teased a few 28.
Most like 95%.
Well, you won't be waiting 3 years for this shit. That's what.
Yeah, I think 100% of the games in January, the January event, will be 2018 games. I don't think.
Well, listen, I'm not gonna get overconfident. I know how this would go.
How mad would you be if there was no January event?
That would suck. But interesting little tidbit. Eurogamer, who just absolutely love, they love to shit on the Wii, even though Digital Foundry is part of Eurogamer, and they usually praise Nintendo games. They did a top 10 games of the year, and number 6 was ARMS, 5 was Mario plus Rabbids.
I'm more baffled at ARMS than anything.
3 was Mario Odyssey, and number 1 was Breath of the Wild. So 4 of the top 6 were Switch. It doesn't say. Oh, it doesn't say in there.
I thought you just didn't care.
I'm sure it was Horizon or something, but this was just what Switch games made it in there. It's not showing me the whole top 10, but 4 out of the top 6 were Switch games, all games that came out. Well, we knew about Zelda beforehand, but announced and released this year. So I think they could potentially have a similar thing with games we don't even know about yet. We're about to find out. They come out this year, and it's gonna be great. So anyway, let's do some final thoughts and get on out of here. And it's still pretty early. Can actually, do something, play some video games or something tonight if we want. Usually we end so late and then talk afterwards that it's like, yeah, I'm going to bed. So let's get final thoughts and get on out of here. So let's start with Terrell.
Good podcast. Happy New Year for everyone. Hopefully 2018 will be better. At this point, it probably, considering how last year was, at least for everything else non-gaming, there's only nowhere else to go but up. So I'm looking forward to how this year plays out. I just beat Xenoblade 2, so I guess I gotta go play some PlayStation games because that console hasn't done anything. Yeah, I beat that.
How long was it? How long?
Like 97 hours is what I did.
Oh God, dude.
You're not even.
You're about 97 hours away from.
No, 96 and a half.
No.
Well, let me ask you something.
I was just trying to make it funny about that.
Real quick, Terrell.
Yeah.
The GameSpot review, that was like, you could tell this guy just hated JRPGs. He hates anime, but he said he got to a point near the end of the game where he was forced to go back and do like 2, 3, 4 hours of shit to like, because it wouldn't allow him to do the final. Did you have anything like that? I'm guessing the dude played 0 side quests, did 0 affinity chart stuff.
Yeah, like it sounds like he didn't do any. He's referring to a field skill, and there's a door that's like that. But if you had Poppy on your team, that automatically would have fixed one of the requirements. It's not just getting farming blades. You can just add blades to the characters who have default level 1 on their field skills. No, there was no real blockade. I was actually looking for it because I remember that review, and I was looking for him. Like, he's probably talking about a field skill, and there's nothing really here that blocks you off from it.
I've had a few little spots where like, shit, I need botany of 7. I have a 2 and 2 1s. Like,
yeah,
I'll come back to this. Well, I went and did affinity quest to get 2 people up to like 3, and then got to the 7. But I'm doing that as I'm playing the game. My guess was when I first heard that review, I'm thinking, this guy, there's no way that's going to be like that. Like, I was thinking X, where it was like, well, you got to complete this affinity mission. You got, like, it told you what you needed to do. I was like, maybe he's talking about that. But no, like, that's not in the game. So
running through, not paying attention.
This motherfucker was trying to get through as fast as possible. He's the same one that said the rare blades were too hard to get. I got like 15, 20 rare blades, and it isn't that.
It's not hard.
You collect.
In any other game, they'd be charging you for it. So what's the problem?
And I have a legendary core crystals. You know what that is? Is that?
Yeah, it's just like a higher chance at a rare blade.
Okay.
You can still get fucked on them, but like, because there's a few blades you can't get normally. You can only get through legendary core crystals, like the one that's like a reference to the old Xenogears games. I think she's only available through a legendary core crystal. Okay. But it's still that randomized shit because I've used one and gotten a common and lost my shit.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, it sucks. My mom was like, "What the fuck are you yelling at?" I said, "Don't worry about it." Everyone in the house just heard me go. I literally just sat there and screamed "fuck" and as loud as I could when I saw it. And I said, and then I forgot it was like 12 o'clock at night. And went, oh right.
I had built up 7 rare blades, and I got 3 rare core crystals, and I got 3 rare blades out of those 7. I was pretty happy.
Yeah, because you still have. I think you have some that I don't have. Like fucking. Yeah. I think is it Newt?
Yeah.
Fucking cool. Son of a bitch! I still can't get her. I don't know
finished the game and he can't even get that.
Man.
But anyway, I just wanted to point out just the fraudulent review.
There was a. I don't know if y'all saw Nintendo Ultra's video about what must-have Switch games you should have.
Mm-hmm.
And when he got the Xenoblade, he exposed there's another YouTuber. People know him as like.
Oh, we're talking about the auto attack to win.
Yeah, like, and it's like, oh, you don't really have to do anything. and you don't have to do anything for you can just win battles. He says this as he shows footage of him dying to one of the bosses. and then he goes from auto attack to winning about, well, they just have level 80s randomly out in the field. I'm like, I thought you could auto attack the way.
Yeah, what's the problem?
What's the fucking problem?
The guy at work was complaining about that, and I'm like, dude, that's the whole point, that you can't just go in a straight line to where you need to go. Sometimes, like, shit, I can't go to this area yet, or I have to try to sneak around. Like, that's hard.
One hit and you're dead.
It'd be stupid to have all low level in one area, then medium in another, like, because you're gonna go back to this area late in the game, and it's just you not just all of a sudden have new creatures. They just have them from the get-go. I always thought that was a cool aspect of X.
Well, yeah, that, and also there's a rare blade you get who's her name is Zenobia, and her affinity chart is literally fighting every unique monster in the game, which are those monsters that are like the same level but have like that
basically
symbol.
a tyrant from X.
Yeah, they're like tyrants, and her affinity chart, every one of her affinities, you have to kill a unique monster, specific unique monster. And considering some of them bitches get up to like level 80 and 90, don't worry, folks. You're gonna get there. You just gotta be prepared to deal with some hard ass fights. So
30-minute battles.
And people said, "Oh, this game does it. This game is. I don't know why they put this out this year." It's like, I don't know why they put DLC out for this fucking game.
That's the only thing that confuses me. It's like, God dang, it's so much.
Jesus Christ! But
that whole auto attack to win, it's
that was some fuckery.
You're such a salty hater, just absolute lying. You can using the arts sometimes it still doesn't. You still, like I explained earlier, you got to like set your auxiliary cores and your accessories to try to beat some of these.
Yeah, you got to have it. It's strategic.
Yeah, but I say it's an RPG. There's a strategy involved, but for some fucking reason, people are like, "Oh, well, the game's just not for me." But it just has that auto attack to win, and I don't care for the English voice acting, even though you can change it to Japanese. So
I know Retro doesn't like, because you're in Europe and you don't like hearing all those accents. I love hearing like everyone with a different accent. Like,
it doesn't bother me.
In America, it's like in Michigan.
Makes the world feel diverse to me.
It's so boring. Everyone, other than a few, not too many people come from exotic parts of the world to
Michigan
in the winter, where there's winters and so it's like I don't hear a lot of accents in the real world.
Yeah, about to say the rule of thumb is that people with accents are sexy, so I don't see what's the problem.
It's not really that. Like, it can be done right. The last story did that perfectly with those accents. Xenoblade just really fucked that up.
Yeah, because it's too varied and they're just too inconsistent, I guess.
Something like that, yeah.
Because I think you were saying like they had variation, they had different accents, and it was like
fucking Nia is just. I have to have subtitles on.
I love the Scottish accent. It's Scottish, right?
I guess it's Welsh.
It's Scottish. Sounds Scottish.
Clocked it says it's Welsh.
Welsh.
Oh, it's Welsh. Okay. Because I think that's what it was. Like,
we don't know shit. We're Yanks.
Yeah, we can't tell the difference. Like how there are different variants in dialect, even in the same general country and shit.
Just like I can tell a Texas accent over a Tennessee accent, like instantly.
And like everyone in the UK is like, it's fucking America. It's all shit anyway.
It sounds like shite.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
that's the worst.
That's what she does. She says shite a lot.
She says shite and she says arse. And you're like,
wait, shite, like, they say shit. Like, wait, they say shit in
dude.
Xenoblade?
Play the fucking game and you'll know.
What am I
about to say? Oh my god, savagery.
I was gonna say there's
you put about 10 hours in and you'll find things out.
There's a common
shot.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of cursing in this game.
No blood though.
There's also a lot of dark theming considering the way the game looks. Considering what I'm not gonna get into it.
Sexual innuendos here and there. It's just,
I know, but the fucking snake and shit. No, was it snake?
The one-eyed.
It's a fucking snake.
Yeah, the one-eyed monster.
Really? Wow.
That was fun. I know, man. See, Robert has to hear about dicks and ass, and then he's interested.
Nintendo hasn't grown up with me.
Welcome to Xenoblade, bitch. Anyways,
Just said something, and they show that in the trailer already. It happens at the beginning of the game. I think they showed it in the trailer that bothered the shit out of me. I don't need my games to be gory as fuck, but if you have a zoom-in shot of a sword going through somebody's body, you gotta at least throw a drop of blood on there.
Yeah. And if you're wiping it off and we don't see anything,
Exactly.
Yeah, there's nothing.
That looks a little weird.
yeah, I'm gonna tell you, there's a particular scene that happens that you don't see.
Yeah,
shit.
like I know what you're talking about. It's
Yeah,
like, what did he just do? I don't understand. And then he tells you later on, like, that's what he did? Like, really?
Mhm.
Yeah, like you don't get it in the
that?
context of the scene because the scene doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
That was a
Oh,
little weird.
really?
Yeah,
How far is that? How far is that?
It's about 10 minutes in. It's about 10 minutes in, Robert.
I think actually it's only like, what was it? It's in the
The one
first...
I was talking about was about 80 hours in.
Oh, you're talking about. Oh, I know what you're
Talking about
talking
something
about.
else. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Anyways, good podcast. Moving on.
All
I'm
right.
just talking about what started the whole story, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert, quick final thoughts. No movie talk, just gaming. Go ahead.
Okay.
You
All
ain't
right,
playing
so-
games. What are you gonna talk about?
Well, I could talk about that one time when I was
Chill out. Just
I was like 10 and I was playing Animal Crossing.
Oh my god, he was
I'm
10.
going to sleep, folks. Fuck this shit.
No,
That shit makes me
seriously
feel
though,
old.
New Year. have enjoy.
Damn. Them shots coming back.
God damn.
2018. We're here. We're alive. We're gonna be celebrated, and
You're gonna be celibate, what?
it's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be a great year for everything, for everyone.
Damn, Robert just hit puberty live on air.
Oh no! I'm gonna. My resolution is to
Read a book.
play a lot more games. Well, I mean, yeah,
You mean start playing?
start playing a lot more
Yeah,
games.
man, why y'all so harsh on Robert, man?
What are you shut up? Tell here. You after all that shit you said.
It just I gotta learn to balance, But and then yeah, guys, have a good New Year. And well, that's not true. It's gonna be about to be the second, so it's not the New Year anymore. But like have a good one, guys.
day.
Have a good night. And
Stop
if you're watching this in the morning, hopefully you had a good night.
All right. And just real quick, I wanted to say, like, I feel like almost similar to last year this time, right before the Switch event, we had like huge number of viewers live. Like, this is the most live viewers we've had in a long time. I don't know if it's people are off work or whatever, but it's like that hype's building, that excitement's building again for the potential of 2018 for Nintendo after what they just did. So just shout out to everybody tuning in. Appreciate that. Retro, why don't you give your final thoughts?
Yeah, it was a great podcast. I love it when some companies, not all, like enable us, giving us games to talk about. It's sad that not every company feels that's important with their system. But it's just like I think like with all our predictions and all our wishes for 2018, I feel Nintendo, they're gonna blow us fucking away this year with some shit that nobody's gonna see coming, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get that excited, but I mean, I could see that potential too. I want to be a little more reserved with my expectations, but I could see that happening. Mezza T.
Yeah, I think Retro is exactly right. I think that we're thinking small because we've been kind of trained to think small, basically through the Wii U years.
Because of 2016, especially.
Right, exactly. So I just think we're in a new era of Nintendo right now. And I think, I'm not going to get myself overly hyped, but I do believe there will be some special things coming for the Switch this year. Not so much for the 3DS. Sorry, Chariot Gava or Soblin. But great podcast as always. Big things coming for Nintendo and Mr. T channel as well. So stay tuned.
All right. And I do want to answer a question someone asked me. Like, I got plans for my channel, to change, expand. Like,
No.
and the answer is no, really. I like doing this podcast every week. What did we miss? Like 2 weeks in 2017, maybe 3. 2016 was a harder year to do these consistently, but I mean, as long as you guys are willing to come on here and be silly, talk gaming, and have fun, like that's really all I care about at this point. I don't, you know.
What you want Terminator Juice doing skits?
Yeah, like ain't gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
This is, and I've kind of let go of the idea of trying to like, I'll still do juice opinions here and there, but it's like I'm fine with. We got a loyal, group of watchers that tune in almost every week in the chat live, get comments from people frequent, weekly, and that's all I could ever ask for. Like we're already ahead of what was my high ceiling for what I wanted to do. So you could say, oh, you shouldn't set your sights so low, but I'm happy with 60 to 100 live viewers and people in the live chat the whole time chatting it up, and to me that's great. So we're going to try to continue every week to entertain you guys, and you'll never have to watch an ad during the podcast if you're watching it on the replay, and I kind of, that's something I don't want to change. So I've had offers from what do they call it, partnerships and stuff, and I'm just like, sorry, I just want to keep doing what I'm doing, no ads, and have fun, having these discussions with you guys. So appreciate 2017 was a great year for Nintendo, but it was a great year for this podcast. We had a lot of awesome conversations, a lot of laughing, a little bit of butt hurt here and there, but I think we nailed it in 2017. We're just going to keep doing what we do. So look forward to just more of this, and Meza T is gonna do great things with his channel. I know.
Don't do it.
Looking forward to that, because he doesn't tell us like much behind the scenes. So we see
we get surprised.
Yeah, it's a surprise, just like everyone else.
I don't want to tell you because it might put me on blast on the podcast.
That is true.
Before I can.
I'm about to say, you cannot be trusted with people.
You can't be trusted with information.
Yeah, you just can't.
And I just appreciate being like surprised like anyone else when a new Meza T video hits. Like I like having something to watch, and so appreciate that.
When he's not promoting them on the podcast.
But that's going to be it. First podcast of 2018. Had fun and look forward to hopefully Nintendo announces a direct, and in the next couple weeks we get to see it and have lots more to talk about. So everybody have a good night, and we'll see you next week.